is, how do you see from your point of view our beekeeping and beekeeping industry? And I mean, what's your point of view?
Tell you what, I made a few slides. Last night at 2:30 in the morning. Let's escape. Let's go to a different. I think it's in this one. Let's see. What is happening? Oh, Windows 11, I hate you. Oh, come on, let me close that one. Oh, I may have to put my my flash drive back in. Well, that's about it. There you go. Oh man, what did I do wrong? Oh, good here. Okay, slideshow. There we go. All right. Okay. So I woke up, you know, I got jet lag, so I was up twice in the middle of the night, so I can't sleep, so I've been powerful on the slides. And after, I took a tour, thank you for my host yesterday, showing me some Slovenian beekeeping. And what I call it is indoor beekeeping versus outdoor beekeeping. Most of the country is outdoor beekeeping. Our California yards are outdoor beekeeping. I just put a few slides and I thought you guys might find interesting. So I put my changer back in here. Okay, so we are considered small-scale commercial beekeepers. This is my two sons here. We have small trucks bringing down to go to this is almond pollination right here. We hand load with a boom loaders. We don't use forklifts here into the almonds. And I put these reference dates in here. Just the date that these pictures were taken. This is taken on February 10th. Okay, moving in. The almond trees are not yet in bloom, dropping them off. And then we go through and we equalize colony strength to make sure when we graded for strength that we don't have any weak colonies and get downgraded right there. And this is February 19th. So this would be typical almond bloom on February 19th. Then we come back and in March we split all of our colonies down to 5 frame nukes, every single colony. So we make about 3,000 5 frame nukes at that point. Again, working outdoors where we can do this. Now, I thought you might be interested in bulk bees. In California, almond pollination is so good for the bees that you have this massive amount of bees that are ready to swarm. And the beekeepers shake them off the combs, do a cleaning sorter, into big cages, and sell them as a bulk bees. So you can buy bees by the pound. And you can use them in novel ways. So a few years ago, we just sold a big load of nucleus colonies, dropped them off, and had a check for $6,000. We were driving back home. And when we dropped them off, we had taken the queens, we had already caged the queens, and we had 50 laying queens in a cardboard box. And my son said, "Dad, what are we going to do with these 50 queens?" I said, Eric, get out your cell phone and check the weather for the next 10 days. He goes, "Oh wow, it's going to be warm and sunny. I go, okay. So I dialed in there and I said, yeah, Keith, it's Randy. Yeah, you still shaking bees? He goes, yeah, shaking bees. I said, can I get 500 pounds of both bees? He goes, yeah, I can do that. I said, can you deliver them tomorrow? He says, tomorrow? I said, yeah, can you deliver 500 pounds tomorrow? Yeah, okay, I can do that. Hang up the phone, my sons are looking at me going, what the heck, Dad? How much is 500 pounds of both bees going to cost? I said, it's going to cost $5,000. He says, we just got this check for $6,000, you're going to spend it from selling bees, you're going to spend it back on bees. I said, boys, I'm going to teach you a lesson. I want you to recognize opportunity and don't hesitate, but use that opportunity. What do we know right now? We've got 50 laying queens in prime condition on our lap. At home, we have piles of boxes of drawn comb with no bees in them from all of our winter combining and dead-outs and stuff. We have manzanita in bloom right now in 10 days of warm, sunny weather. That's an opportunity. So what you can do is put those queens, right here, I'm just boosting singles right here. We got home, we put 50 bottom boards down, we put 2 boxes of drawn comb on each, put a lid on it, and went back home, kept the queens warm overnight. The next morning, we go out there, we put 1 caged queen in each of those boxes with a candy plug, no bees in those hives, 20 drawn combs, and dump 10 pounds of bees on the ground in front of each one. They smell the queen, they walk in, 10 pounds of bees covers 20 frames with bees. We instantly had 50 strong wall-to-wall colonies with a queen shot with a leg. And a guaranteed nectar and pollen flow for the next 10 days. Okay? 3 weeks later, we tripled our money. We sold those, broke them up, sold them as nuke again. I've always learned an important lesson of recognizing opportunity and moving on it. We saw that. Okay. I hope we've been talking about the tragedy of the commons. This is a common agricultural term. When your number of livestock in a shared pasture exceeds the carrying capacity of that landscape. That defines Slovenia right now. You are exceeding the carrying capacity of your landscape for honeybees. As the number of hives goes up, the available forage per hive goes down. Not surprisingly, you would expect to see lower honey crops. Okay? You guys are shooting yourselves in the foot right here. So what I would be encouraging is not more beehives, but more pollinator plantings. Okay, that's the end of it. Did that answer, what was the question that I was supposed to answer? Oh, good question. Did I answer it? Good. Yeah, back there.
You use Mellifera ligustica mainly.
They look like it. I can't tell you for sure. We started many years ago with mostly ligustica, some carnica, and now we've just bred from our own operation year after year after year, so I have not done mitotyping. And we don't breed for color at all. We have every color of the rainbow in our bees. And the reason is, that's an easy eyeball on maintaining enough genetic diversity in a breeding population. Not that color is important, but it tells me that we're maintaining enough diversity. We're not inbreeding too much.
Spain difference.
Yeah.
In Slovenia.
Oh yeah. So what we're doing is we're breeding bees that are adapted to our environment, not only our environment, but our management. So we tried either. I ran a few yards of Russian bees for a few years, and Russian bees were great bees, but they build up too slowly for almond pollination. They swarm too much afterwards. So even though they were great bees, they fit our environment very well, but they didn't fit my business operation. Okay, so you want to breed bees not only for your environment, but for your specific business operation. Now you guys are kind of stuck. You only got one breed here, but in the United States, you can have beekeepers in the same area keeping different races of bees because they have different kinds of business goals. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. Other questions? Why don't we take a, oh, go ahead.
I would like to go back a little to pesticides.
Yeah.
You tell that it's on the 4th place with chlorine-phos. In
Chlorine-phos you're saying?
no, chlorine, that...
Chlorpyrifos.
Chlorpyrifos.
Yeah. That's an organophosphate.
Okay. Is that only to use in agriculture, you think, or maybe...
It used to be the main one that was used for homeowners. So they used to just douse neighborhoods with chlorpyrifos. In the U.S., that's largely, they're trying to phase it out. There's a lot of pushback by people who miss it, so they're allowing some uses. But EPA, the regulatory agencies are trying to phase out the organophosphates, and chlorpyrifos is one of them.
Okay. And another thing, when you mentioned the use of pesticides and the survival of the bees,
yeah,
it's interesting, and you mentioned also the patents. Like patents of Bayer, it's interesting to see how they wanted to combine fungicides and neonics. And with the combination of the fungicide and neonics, they increase for sometimes 50, 100 times of efficiency of neonics. Do you have this combination in your orchards?
They do, and it doesn't seem to bother the bees. Now, in the almonds, they found that there were 2 fungicides, Alticor and Pristine. If you applied them at the same time, they were synergistic and they were really rough on the bees. So we informed the almond growers, and the almond growers no longer mix those 2 fungicides at the same time. But as far as the neonics and the fungicides, the beekeepers in those areas, when I actually traveled there to check ground truth, I went, when all this blame was put on the neonics, I said, well, why don't I go visit in real life, put my feet on the ground, in the highest rate of seed treatment of neonics anywhere on the planet. So I flew there and visited the beekeepers there and found out, wow, they're saying this is the best it's ever been. This is the lowest rate of pesticide loss. This is the best the bees have been doing. This is our best honey crops on totally genetically engineered, seed-treated plants. I go, wow. And I traveled all around and checked it all out, and that was the truth. So what I found at that point is what I'm reading in the news did not reflect reality on the ground. And those beekeepers there, and there were lots of them, they just laughed and said, yeah, we read the news too, it's just all a bunch of lies. So I gave up counting on the news for accurate information. You gotta realize, the news, the number one thing they want to do is fear-monger. Fear-mongering sells more copy. People pick up the magazine if there's a fear message on there. So I am not a pesticide promoter at all. I'm an organic gardener my whole life, okay? I had one of the first organic farm stores, okay? I'm all about sustainable agriculture, minimal pesticide use. But I'm not going to lie about it. In reality, in these areas, there's actually great improvement of how the pesticides were 10 years ago when beekeepers really struggled with pesticides there. So they're not perfect, but they are getting better. Okay? Yeah. Okay, let's take a quick bathroom break, stretch your legs.
Yeah.
Come on out. Okay.
Predlagam, da vzamemo kratko pauzo, 10 minut, 5 minut čez pol začnemo.